Hello, everyone. I'm hoping if we could just start, if anyone has questions, we could start with the community questions. Um, and then, yeah, I'm so happy to have you here.
Excited.
Um, yeah, you can just throw them in the chat, or you can speak up, whichever works best. We've got one person asking if you found the person who hacked your HeyBoss Twitter account.
No, I haven't. Please give me tips. We recovered by contacting Twitter support, and they give us the account back. But I didn't know who hacked the account. So yeah, my
Amazing.
offer of rewarding whoever that can find the hacker will be rewarded $5,000 still active. Please help me.
That's quite the incentive. Quite the incentive. Quite the incentive. Um, we've got why did you sell Run the World? That's an interesting.
um, well, it was a great run during pandemic until COVID was over. I think obviously things getting harder, and we got a really good event. Mobi back then they were doing a lot of physical events, so there's a lot of synergy. That's why we're like, okay, let's sell it. Yeah.
Hmm, interesting. Hey, Howie.
Hey, Xiaoyin. Hey,
Hey, hi,
Axel.
hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
So we're going to talk about your AI CEO today, right?
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay, we have a few people on the line, folks, feel free to, whether type your questions in the chat room or just, open up your video and then, or not open the video, it doesn't matter. Just, open up mic and then see if you have any
Well,
questions.
Cyrus, you seem to know
Um,
me really well. Thank you for your questions. You seem to know me inside out.
Oh, what was the question Cyrus asked? I missed it.
uh he followed me, and I think he knew that our Twitter got hacked. He was asking me who was the guy behind it. Did I find out?
Oh, okay, cool. Um, it
Maybe
sounds
maybe
like
Neil browser has more security functions. I don't know if that's, did I reveal my
absolutely.
passwords
This
to the
is
browser?
this is this is the world's only, and then for now first for now it's the only safe AI native browser. Hey, Xiaoyin, you and I talked about the AI browsers before, right? Um, I don't know to what degree do you remember because you probably
Of course
looked
I
at a
do.
various
Of course I do.
okay.
Yeah.
What was it? Okay, so that's a memory test. What was your takeaway from that short conversation? Like I told you, hey, we have an AI browser. What was your takeaway?
Well, my takeaway
Sorry,
was
we did it.
you have different version
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
browsers. Seems like you have multiple, no? Targeting different use cases. Um, and the
Yeah,
idea was that,
definitely.
yeah, go ahead. And the idea is you believe that people will be browsing the internet entirely differently. And I wasn't sure exactly how different it will be. You said that let's wait and see your product. So
We kind of recently announced it. Did you get a chance to download it yet?
I tried the whatever the website you sent me maybe a month ago. So I haven't tried the new one.
Okay. Okay. So as a guest speaker, you are going to get a free activation. So
That's amazing. Sounds
we'll make
great.
sure we'll make sure you have it. And by the way, for people involved, on the call today, if you haven't got a activation code, we are committed to giving you a activation code as well. So ping Excel offline if you don't have one yet. Okay, let's actually go straight to the AI thing. I mean, Xiaoyin, you have been doing AI stuff for a while. What maybe share with us what is the like people are talking about getting websites done in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Tell us something that what is real? Like this is amazing. This is so true today. And then there's also something that you feel like it's overhyped. Can you share with something that really, really amazing, and then that's already a reality today? And then also share with us from your point of view, certain things might be overhyped. Tell us what's in your
Do you mean any AI stuff or more related to what I do?
can be anything, but can of
Anything.
course related to what you do will be amazing, but it doesn't have to.
Well, I think in terms of what we do, HeyBoss, obviously, just for those who don't know about it, we're the most non-tech friendly version for vibe coding. And we're targeting people who know nothing about coding, sometimes nothing about tech. And I think the amazing thing is that when it comes to design and like visual first products, whether it's website or things that are focusing on visual, AI is getting so good that it's better than most of the, I guess, designer you can hire freelance. So we're seeing a lot of people who are just entirely replace their designer and make AI design most of their product. I think what's remain to be overhyped is the when it comes to logic and back end logic, AI doesn't seem to get 100%. If you really want a production level product with really complicated logic, and if you're a person who doesn't understand tech and that can't describe those logic, I think there's still gaps in terms of reaching to the level where you're happy with. So I would say like the back end is overhyped, the front end is already there.
When you say logic, give me an example that the sort of thing that's still overhyped at this
I think currently, let's say if you wanted to design your own social network, you say to AI, clone LinkedIn. We can do a very good job cloning the design. We can have the like functionality, everything. But there's a lot of nuance, right? In terms of access control, who have access to your profile. AI doesn't seem to get that right just by saying like add access control. You have to be really specific, and still sometimes they get wrong. When it comes to like logic on how often do you refresh the feed, for example, things more related to like what is the refresh technology, what is the refresh logic, AI doesn't seem to get it right. So you have to be really specific about user login, authorization, all of that stuff. AI doesn't seem to get right, which is why there seem to be a lot of security problem with a lot of the vibe coding products, because AI doesn't get that right on those part. But if you just want a simple blog where you want some kind of a forum where people can post stuff, AI is very good, and we made it really easy. If people wanted to start a blog, they want to start their website, they want to start their own community, AI is really good. But when it comes to like recommend me the top 3 people that I should meet in LinkedIn, that kind of thing, when it comes to recommendation, AI still doesn't get it right unless you really know backend logic. Yeah.
Very interesting. Basically, you are saying that if you just want a LinkedIn clone demo, it can be done pretty well. But I think if
Right.
you want all the details right, we are
You
still
want all
far
the
away,
you want
right?
all the detailed logic to make sure it's not stupid. Then there's a lot of nuance that you have to describe, and sometimes when you describe, AI still doesn't get it right, especially when it comes to security or user authorization, who has access to what. They don't get it right sometimes, and that can be quite frustrating because the people who are not working in tech, they don't know how to describe those logic, and they typically that's when they stuck in a loop. That's kind of what we find. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I'll share a quick story and then I will let Axel drive from here. And I think we already have a few very interesting questions in the chat room. I'll let him drive that. But my story, I'll share with you a story. So Axel and I, and then another dude, we 3 of us sat in the room just this week. And I thought, wow, next generation think things very differently, because I was testing out I'm not going to name the name, but it's not LinkedIn, but let's say some software like LinkedIn. And then Excel was saying, hey, let's find an API to drive it, right? So that's great. And then the third person in the room actually said, let's actually clone the website so that we don't even need to worry about whether API is available or not. So that's the next generation engineers or people are thinking. So it's not just API, but also just do the entire function in 15 minutes. Although for that particular thing, we were not successful in 15 minutes, but you get a point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let Axel drive from here. There are a few questions he has, and then also from the chat room.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a couple of people wondering what's the process like to get funding from OpenAI, the Alexa fund. I know you're also funded by the Pair VC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Well, I think they are very helpful. OpenAI has a lot of they sometimes introduce us to researchers to like learn about what's new. And we get obviously free credit from OpenAI and then Amazon, on the other hand, they're working with Anthropic on the cloud side, and then OpenAI side. So it's kind of funny. None of them require me to exclusively use their model. They have been quite lenient when it comes to which model to use. And we use all of them. We use cloud. We use OpenAI. We also use Gemini. so I guess to some degree we double dipped.
Hey,
But
Xiaoyin, the
yeah,
question
go
is
ahead.
really everyone wants to be funded by OpenAI.
Right.
What's the trick that they need to know to get funded by Open?
Yeah, sure. So OpenAI has a special program called Converge, CONVRG. And then I think that's a really good program. They open up every year, once a year, and then they've basically found a bunch of startups. A lot of the peers that I know, they barely started, or they have some early traction. So it's a great program that I recommend everybody apply. When it comes to Alexa, I think they don't have a particular program. It's more just through connections. So because I'm a serial entrepreneur in the back then, I raised a lot of money from Andreessen and stuff. So I kind of know a lot of people. But I also know that OpenAI's program is open to public, so people can apply. And I think you guys should go to OpenAI and then search for Converge. And every year they have a bunch of companies. So for example, the first batch, they have Cursor. And then this batch, I was in the second batch. So that's kind of how we get it.
Very interesting. Hopefully that answers that question. We also, Anderson's wondering, is it due to a lack of training potentially on these models that they're incapable of cloning, from a privacy and security perspective, something like LinkedIn, or why do you think that is that they're not there yet?
I think the front end is there, right? Because they have all the information. They can totally do it. I think right now, so there's a few things. One is from user interaction. When you click on this, what happened? I think most of the technology has been based on screenshot. So you take a screenshot and they do it. So there's a lot of context when it comes to when you close this button, when you click on this button, what happened? What's the pop up? That kind of thing tend to got lost, right? I know that there's some other company are starting to work on video understanding technology. In the future, maybe you can take a video of that entire interaction and ask AI to clone that. Right now, we're not there yet, but I think that probably will happen pretty soon when it comes to user interaction. And then obviously there's related to user authorization and logic and privacy. Those are the things that you don't technically see from scraping the website or from screenshotting the website. So a lot of them you don't know. And there's a lot of nuances as well when it comes to for example, how do you recommend the people you should meet? It's actually a pretty sophisticated system within LinkedIn that they never made public, and you don't know the details. And even if you know the details, there's a lot of data you have to collect, right? Across the board. There's a lot of user interaction data, who likes whom, what is the time spent. So there's a lot of those data we just don't know. So I think right now it's a little bit challenging for AI to just say clone that feature, and then AI can clone it from a backend standpoint 100%. We're not there yet. And I think it's possible if you can fairly describe the logic and kind of replicate their process. I'm sure you can do it, but we don't know their process. So that is why it's a little challenging.
Interesting. And then I'm curious, what triggered you to do the AI CEO and make that happen?
Yeah, so our customer, we're targeting people who are not maybe not necessarily need to clone the next version of LinkedIn, bit by bit. They probably want similar kind of design, but they want to have their own community. And I'm just cloning LinkedIn as inspiration, but I don't need all those advanced features. Those are kind of our users. It could be a community leader, it could be a creator, it could be somebody who have a business, who want to start a company. So for that regard, back in the days, I used to be serving all of those customer, and we have engineer, we have designer, we have kind of marketers, and then now we replace each of those functions. So we have AI engineer that replace engineer, we have AI designer to replace designer, we have AI product manager to replace product manager, we have AI content writer to replace a writer. So essentially, we started with having those agents first that has different functionality, and then we kind of promoted our AI PM to become the CEO to manage all the other agents, because we realized it's actually faster for AI to manage all the other AIs than me managing all the other AIs. So that's number one. Number two is, since we launched the product in alpha, we see a lot of traction across the board from different countries. So it's actually AI CEO can serve all of those customers at the same time, and they can speak all the languages, so they're more efficient than me personally staffing them. So I say right now the AI CEO does three things. One is it serves all the customer directly, speaking all the languages, and the second thing is AI managing all the other AI agents. So like let's say a customer say I'm a yoga teacher, I want to set up my own app teaching people how to like exercise, whatever. So the AI CEO will break down the task and signing design task to designer and basically like figure out the project management side, also figure out the product requirement, and then evaluate each agent's work and then combine them together and directly serve the customers. That's the current process. So they replace they entirely serve all the customers. They entirely manage all the AI employees that are agent. And then they have a lot of data. So because customer directly talk to the AI CEO on what are the things they like, what are the things don't like. So we have a lot of data from transcript. People sentiment, what are the feature they want, what is the constant common bugs that people are complaining about. And then so they can summarize, the AI CEO can summarize the things that we need to work on for the next milestone. So essentially the product direction can be set based on customer data by the AI CEO as well. Those are the three things: customer, employees, and product direction. There are still things though, I have to say, that I'm doing more proactively. It's more related to like payment, signing contracts, when it comes to data privacy and compliance, and user like authorization, those kind of things, a lot of time require legal and compliance. We don't want to be passively letting the AI CEO do the work. What if she get messed up? So we're more proactive. But when it comes to like product development, design for our customer, we let the AI take the charge, and only when she's getting stuck, then she can escalate to our human advisor to solve that. That's kind of the current process right now.
And what do you think are the key metrics in terms of the efficacy of the AI in terms of making a product and an app that need work the most, or sort of where are the weaknesses? Like you've mentioned, maybe it doesn't have total grasp of the from a privacy and security perspective. But is there anything else? Is it speed, etc.? What do you think needs work?
I think speed is way better than me. They don't need to take a break. And in terms of I think the AI CEO is more ruthless than me because obviously sometimes I have ego and it's like I don't want to admit that was wrong, but AI CEO doesn't care, right? So I think they're more ruthlessly objective. But I tend to realize, first of all, when it comes to marketing, people like me more than AI CEO. And AI CEO cannot get her own LinkedIn because LinkedIn banned all robot account. So they just think that she's another spam account. So she doesn't allow to have her own LinkedIn to some degree. She got discriminated in that. So when it comes to marketing, I realize humans still, at least right now, prefer human. But obviously, maybe as AI video generation gets better, people may like AI more. But right now, it's still human. That's number one. Number two is that when it comes to a lot of context that I guess because they don't have all the details. When you talk to a customer, it's more than just what they say. It's also maybe know where to dig. Maybe based on their facial expression or based on some like you have dinner, we have food with customer. You kind of see a lot of like off the screen context, which AI doesn't have those data. We realize they're not as good for that. And the third is more just taste. There's a lot of obviously you can be objective, but when it comes to serving customers, a lot of them require taste. We could go three different paths. Which way do we go? It's actually at the end of the day, it's a judgment call. And I think for that kind of stuff, AI can make some judgment call, but we tend to trust more human on those gut decisions. I would say long-term decision on the vision, human do that. But when it comes to breaking down the long-term decision into, executable bit, AI can do better.
Interesting. And we have another random question in the chat from earlier. It's what was your best angel investment?
Well, I recently invested in Open Router, so we'll see how that is performing. So far, I think they just 8x their valuation or something. So I guess that's doing well. But I also like invest in other company where when they have nothing. So financially, even though they're not as famous because I got in at a really low rate, it's probably giving me more boost, So we'll see. I mean, none of my company has like gone IPO yet. So it's a little early to say, but I think there's some early success.
Interesting. And then I know, me personally, I was actually using your product a couple weeks ago. I was completely random. I didn't know about this yet. And I was, considering between
Oh, you mean you
Lovable.
didn't know I'm the founder?
Yeah, I didn't know you. I was just kind of looking around because I needed it. And so I found your website, and I was looking also at some competitors like Lovable or there's a varying out there. And I'm curious, from your words, what is the sort of the greatest difference between these? Because I was really I was unsure what's the greatest difference between these competitors when I was personally using it.
Well, I would say like right now, this space is huge space. So coding is, I don't think anybody can dominate it. But
Yeah.
from a user demographic standpoint, you have like Cursor and Windsurf. Those are serving real developers who are collaborating in a company setting. My husband worked at Tesla and they use Windsurf. So it's like legit developers. I think then you have Bolt and Lovable. In my opinion, I think they're targeting more. Maybe there are indie developers or product manager who work in tech. They know the concept of back and front end. They know a little bit of code at least, where they know some code. Where it's like an engineer, they're in their day job, they use Cursor, but in their part-time job, they do side gig. They don't want to start from scratch. They use Lovable and Bolt to kickstart. So I think I would say those are the people who are more in somewhere between. Those are tech professionals, but they don't necessarily call themselves a coder, but they have some coding background, or at least they understand the concept. And then I think we're more targeting people who don't have those concepts at all. So I will give you an example. Let's say you want to build a LinkedIn clone. I think for the Cursor people, they know exactly what algorithm to ask Cursor to do. When they face a bug, they know how to solve that. The Lovable people, they understand they need Supabase, and they're not afraid of setting up Supabase. They understand user authorization, what it is. Our user don't. Our user typically can only describe features. Like I want LinkedIn, I want to have ability for people to like my post. I want to be able to see other people's posts within a particular location. So they typically just say the words. So I would say they have the same tech savviness as my mom, or they work in marketing or operations within a tech company, but they're not at all in the part of the R&D journey. So I would say those are our user, which is probably 98% of the population. And I think Lovable and Bolt are targeting more like the 2%, and then Cursor is probably the top 1% hardcore developers that know the most. So those are kind of the user demographic. And then in terms of the actual experience, I think obviously Cursor can do the most complicated stuff. It also supports multiple developers to collaborate on a real legit product. Like for example, Tesla. I think Lovable tend to feel short when it comes to a really sophisticated project. I know a lot of people export to Cursor, but they still enable you a lot of flexibility in terms of I want to set up this particular third-party API. I think we are easiest to start for everyday people who wanted to have a quick product. They may not be the most technically hardcore. We may not have as much flexibility, but we're way easier. If you want to set up database, you really don't need to say that. You just say you want to be able to see other people's posts. Our AI figure out you need a database. In Lovable, you have to know that you need a database and proactively set it up. So I think that's the difference. But obviously that means they have more flexibility than us, but it also means ours is way easier, that we deter fewer people that are rookies compared to them. So I think those are kind of the technology decisions. The other decision we made is that we do not want people to set up like 10 other accounts for Supabase and OpenAI API and all of that. We think it's too much trouble. So we actually native integrate with like 30 plus services, whether it's Supabase or it's OpenAI API or it's 11 Labs API. So the person doesn't need to buy through OpenAI to get a separate API. They can just say, I want the audio feature, and we will pay 11 Labs on their behalf and set it up those feature, and they just need to use HeyBoss credit to get it done. So essentially they don't need to set up like Supabase for user login. They can just say add login, and we already build that for them. So essentially we have all the features that we pre-built, all the native integration that we pre-built, and you just need to say that. But for things that we don't have, you kind of have to go through the same process of Lovable. Maybe you give us the API key, but we're trying to cover more and more and more natively, so people don't need to set it up themselves.
Interesting. I know Howie joined back, so if he has anything to say, that'd be interesting. But I am curious, where do you see the future of HeyBoss? Because I know, as you mentioned, it's a wide space.
Right.
So in the years to come, sort of what will change?
I think as AI gets better, it will be smarter. And so like when you try to clone LinkedIn, when it comes to people you may know, I think AI will get better at doing that without you giving technical instructions. So we kind of focusing on just ease of use and making sure that people don't need to set up those third-party things, don't need to learn about what is user authorization, and just count on AI to figure that out. Obviously, in the short term, that means there are certain use cases that are really complicated. Our AI doesn't know, and we're not going to focus on that. Right now, we're more focusing on, people who have a business, who have the business idea. They want to get more customers. They want to attract, or they want to engage existing customer. We're more focusing on making money kind of use cases and making sure the landing page looks good, the user conversion looks great, and there's like feature that we invest in that helps, help our customer engage with their customers better. So we're focusing more on the marketing, user engagement kind of use cases, and making sure we have all the native integration around that, so that when the AI get better, we can be deeper in the play. But right now, we're more focusing on helping, making sure the design looks good, making sure we have the content, we have the SEO, we have the design to help people attract more users. So we're more focusing on marketing related use cases that are maybe not be super challenging to build from a technical standpoint, but we wanted to give it 100% production value so people can launch their website, launch their landing pages, launch their community engagement dashboard really quickly. So those are kind of the use cases that we're doing. So that being said, we're handpicking a few use cases that we think are closer to money and more everyday people need it because they need those to run businesses. And we want to make sure the AI is trained to master those use cases to bring 100% value so that they can go production. Those are kind of our focus. But if you wanted to build some super niche thing, maybe like an AI agent that trade stocks, then that's not our focus right now. So I say like that's kind of how we bet. Yeah.
Okay. And then as someone who sort of aspires to potentially be where you are one day, I'm curious, do you ever employ any sort of non-conventional marketing, potentially at the start, sort of gain traction from first users? I'm curious, either for Run the World or HeyBoss.
We recently opened up a new job called a Vibe Growth Marketer. We hired someone really, really amazing. I really think the marketing role has changed, in the past, you kind of hire from Facebook, Instagram. I used to work at Instagram Growth as a product manager where you hire from, like maybe some like big companies when it comes to growth. But now, first of all, I don't think you need a degree. I don't think you need much marketing experience because I think the game has changed. There's a lot of automation you could do. And a lot of AI companies are focusing on getting more people's attention because now like distribution is everything. So we recently set up a job description. We say we want to hire the best vibe marketer, no degree required. You don't need to, we don't care about your GPA. We don't care about what company you work at. We just want to make sure you have the ability to make us go viral. And there's no rules. Like the only rules, don't get me go to jail. Don't make me go to jail. Don't get me arrested. Other than that, there's no rule. And actually we got a lot of candidates. We hired someone who's really, really good. And he's able to automate a lot of what he does by using AI, like, mixing different kind of tools for like, social media posts, for like events and stuff like that. So I think the future of marketer has changed. I've even my friends who got like a lot of funding from other top VCs, they hire a lot of like 19-year-old, 20-year-old marketers who kind of just AI native, and they're just way more productive than somebody who worked 10 years in marketing that are not AI native. So I think the abilities to master those AI tools, the abilities to be different and really have a taste in marketing, because now if you follow the traditional path, first it's going to be really crowded. Second of all, the game has changed. Now you need like basically constantly think of new ideas, viral ideas to help the company get more traction. And so I think the game has changed. I think there's a lot of opportunity for people who dropped out of high school or who know AI really well to get a really good job.
Interesting. Yeah, that was that's pretty interesting.
Seems like you're the vibe marketer for your company, no? Maybe you yourself are the
maybe I will. I'm still learning, getting the ropes, perhaps. But yeah, it seems we lost some people here, but so far, yeah, I guess. Howie, do you have any questions? Here, it seems he's gone. Now, before you leave,
Yeah.
I am curious, sort of, what would you say was in your particular use case as you've started to build HeyBoss? What's been sort of your greatest challenge, I would say, from a growth perspective, or I'm curious.
I think for us, because we're targeting the non-technical, non-coding people. So let's say you're a teacher or they could be a coach. So the most challenging part is just their ability to prompt, is not, it's not like they're trained to do that. It's not like their work require them to do that. So they also seem to get discouraged when the AI is not following their instructions. So for us, it's like the challenge is more just they care about being in production right now, and they don't enjoy the process of prompting. They want the result. So how can we design our system so we can quickly give them result without them needing to know how to prompt, because they don't want to learn how to prompt. So I think that is actually the number one challenge. And I think we have a few ideas that we're working on that we believe can, solve that problem. And we're really excited about that. So you should stay tuned. But I think that's very different mindset compared to, I'm a builder, or I'm an indie developer, or I'm a product manager. This is a fun thing for me to just prompt the AI, see what happened. Our user sometimes don't enjoy the process, they enjoy the outcome. They want something customized, they want something that solve their need. They don't have the time to hire a developer and have meetings. They want the result now. I think I would say like probably 98% of the population are falling into this category compared to the 2% who enjoy the process. I'll figure out the right way to prompt this particular sentence, build this feature.
As you kind of said, you were looking for someone who you didn't really care the GPA or what job they had. And so I'm curious, when you were working at Meta and you're, product manager, do you think there was anything there you learned that might have been kind of instrumental in bringing you to where you are now? Like, is there any sort of information, perhaps, do you think, hey, I really needed that experience?
Well, obviously for me, that was my first job. I think it's probably the best first job one can get back then. Maybe now, I mean, you could argue is OpenAI is probably better. I don't know, but it was one of the best job you could ever get when I was graduating from from college. But we have like great people. I know a lot of friends who are doing amazing things right now, so we're keeping in touch. So that's definitely something. It's totally worth it. And then it's just more the ability, because back then I was early product manager at Instagram. Instagram was maybe a few 100 million users instead of like billions right now. So there's a lot of things. Facebook like acquired them maybe like 2 years before I joined or something. So there's a lot of things to be done. And it's very easy. You can easily show result. You did this one thing and then now you have, 20 more million users or something. So I definitely think that gives you a lot of boost in terms of you have seen like world's most popular product get built and get developed and get updated. So it's a good experience. But I still think right now, like the game that we used to do growth, I don't think that applies anymore. The thing we did a lot of A/B testing, we do like, try to fine tune the algorithm. I think that's still useful. But I think the game has changed quite a bit. So I would say the game has changed, but the people are really valuable. So I would say like big company still has a lot of amazing talent. I was able to work with a lot of my old colleague in my company, and they have been really helpful. And my investor come from my Facebook connection as well, for example. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So Anderson, do you have anything you'd like to ask?
Anderson says a little bit more. I think they're working on it, Anderson. I think they recently they hire a lot of people. They have a lot of money, no?
Yeah.
So maybe it's too early to tell. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, when I was there, the focus was video. It was like YouTube is number one, Facebook want to be they want to be number one. So I think Zuckerberg has a tendency where he typically every year he say, back then it was mobile first in 2013. So Facebook did a really strong pivot from desktop to mobile. And then it was like video first. Then did it, and then they try to focusing on video, and then it's short video first to try to destroy TikTok. I don't think that is super successful, but then they did have another one where they're trying to destroy Snapchat. And then I think they did with Instagram story. I'm assuming right now is AI first, so each year I think Zuckerberg has a thing that's like blah 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 first, and then back in the days, like 3 years ago, I think 4 years ago during the election, it was privacy and integrity first. I think now it's definitely AI first. So I would not bet against Zuck just because he's so determined. And there's a period of time he made the wrong decision. He's like, VR first or something. Maybe that didn't really came into play. So he pivoted back to AI first. So we'll see this play. But he tend to focusing on one thing, and he's not afraid to throw billions and billions of dollars and pivot the entire company towards one direction. So I will not bet against him.
Does HeyBoss leverage vibe coding tools as well? Like in terms of actually developing?
Of course, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So our website,
what percentage of your code do you think has been vibe coded or has been generated by artificial intelligence?
I would say a lot of our front end stuff for sure. When it comes to like AI backend, I like what I said. I think there's still a lot of nuances, especially given where it's actually very hard to do what we do in terms of backend. And that probably that's good, because if we can vibe code our backend as well, then we're probably in danger, But when it comes to marketing, I think a lot of use cases in marketing, we do like, for example, our landing pages, our SEO pages, our like user engagement. We did like some user events. We did some like feed where people can post their project, all of those things. We don't really need any engineer. It was entirely marketing people like lead the entire project. our SEO initiative has been done entirely in HeyBoss with no engineering. I think that really help us boost our marketing operations. When it comes to support, there's a lot of like help center related stuff that we're using HeyBoss to do as well. And so that saves a lot of our time, I would say. So the hardcore AI stuff, I would say a lot of them are human has at least, curated because each detail matter. Front end, we do a lot of them in HeyBoss. And marketing operation, we do almost everything in HeyBoss.
Okay. Interesting.